That's right, when you can't come up with a story that involves the original cast, or at least most of the original cast, you develop one where our lead characters go back to Japan. Always works. Karate Kid Part 2, released in 1986 and is directed by John G. Avildsen, who's also behind such films like The Karate Kid, The Karate Kid Part 3, and the all-time classic Rocky 5. Yeah, I'm never going to let that piece of trivia go by the wayside when talking about this director. You directed Rocky 5. You almost killed this franchise. Let's see what you do with this one. And this film is starring Ralph Macchio and Noriyuki Morita. And the reason why we're talking about the Karate Kid Part 2 today is because it was a PayPal recommendation and donation from a big contributor and supporter of this channel, David Klimov. Thank you very much for your recommendation. All week we're talking about the Karate Kid, the entire franchise that you sent over in your bundle. Actually, I don't think you sent over Legends, but I'm just going to be covering that one anyway, because if I'm talking about 5 Karate Kid films, I gotta finish it off and talk about the 6th one that came out earlier this year. So thank you very much, David, for the recommendation. If anyone else out there also wants to be like David, help support me and contribute to this channel, you can select the QR code that is in the bottom left corner of your screen right now. Send over your donation of $5 or more with your movie recommendation, and if I have access to it, I will watch it, review it, and give you a little shout out, just like what I did with David here. Immediately following the tournament from the first movie, dojo owner John Kreese attacks his students, and Mr. Miyagi goes over to show him a lesson and to save Johnny Lawrence and the rest of his team. Well, 6 months later, Mr. Miyagi has received a letter that his father is quickly passing away, so he decides to fly back to Japan to see him one last time. But of course, Danielson needs to accompany him because he's got nothing going on. His girlfriend from the first movie just up and randomly dumps him for a football player. But while in Japan, we find out that the village that Mr. Miyagi's father lives in is owned by this gangster, and the gangster wants Mr. Miyagi to pay up or fight him, and yeah, evil. He has his right-hand man, which is basically a Japanese Johnny Lawrence, who really wants to fight, and oh, there's Daniel-san, so he's gonna fight him whenever he fucking can. And I think I mentioned it in the first review, but I need to mention it here. I feel like the rest of the franchise is going to go down this path, because I know Legends has this, and I'm just assuming that the other films have it too. Why are there so many bad people who have learned karate? Specifically, like, why are there teachers out there who are instructing these children in these bad ways, of all the bad ways to learn martial arts, and how you should use the skills of fighting and strength to punish and to strike fear into the hearts of everyone, your enemies, but also everyone, as opposed to using the discipline of martial arts as a way of finding internal peace and internal discipline to help you better your life and to better yourself, better your community, better your family, better your friends. Why are there so many of these bad martial arts people who use martial arts for bad? Clearly unstable people. Like Sato, who is the right-hand person of the mob dude, shows up in the end of this movie, ready to slice the throat of Danielson's new Japanese girlfriend in order for him to fight him so that he can regain his honor. And the fact of him showing up during this artistic ceremony and threatening to assault a woman, to murder a woman with a knife to the throat, that's not also damaging your honor, but it will all be fine if he fights and defeats Daniel-san. That's a little ridiculous. Ending here was pretty ridiculous. But I do like that as a second chapter in this franchise that we are getting more of Mr. Miyagi. We get more backstory of him. We see him with his father. We see him in his original village with his original dojo, and you can see all of the ancestors up on the wall. We figure out like how he created all of his martial arts techniques. We see Mr. Miyagi sparking up a relationship with a nice, beautiful looking woman who's kind of infatuated with him too. And Daniel-san, you know, on the rebound of being of being dumped from the girl in the first movie. Now he's infatuated with another girl here in Japan, and he's probably happy about that because he knows he's probably going to go back to LA and she's not going to follow him, clearly, even though he says he wants her to. He's probably thinking, nah, you'll hang out here, and that way, it's like a summer fling, you know? It's Japanese fling. But we are establishing even a stronger bond between Daniel-san and Mr. Miyagi, and how Daniel-san will really just do anything for this guy who he met 6 years ago, but he's so integral to who Daniel is as a person, and he is that father figure that he has been missing almost his entire life. I believe he never knew his father, if I'm understanding correctly, or maybe he did and he just left when he was a younger kid. But this relationship is clearly saving Daniel's life, because having that guidance and having that voice, that teacher constantly around him is making him seemingly into a better person. And he is a good kid because he's trying to give back to Mr. Miyagi. He had all this money for college, but he's like, no, I'll pay it for a ticket. I'm going to come along with you to make sure you're okay. I really like that. This is becoming, I haven't seen these films before. This is becoming like one of my favorite on-screen couples in the history of movies, at least that I've watched. I just love seeing both of these men just bettering themselves because they are friends with each other and just want each other to be happy and want them to have good, disciplined, self-respecting lives. Though I am missing the tournament. I am missing a lot of the karate that we got in the first film, or at least focus on karate. When we get into the arrangements of, oh, well, we're gonna fight at noon tomorrow, then we get into some training montages, but I don't know, I think it's missing that fun of a karate tournament and how you should be over-dramatizing how a tournament can play out. Because the resolution here of this movie is kind of simple, and it's kind of silly. There's a bad storm, there's a bad hurricane, and Mr. Miyagi saves the gangster mobster's life by bringing him into the basement with all of the other people in the village. And then he realizes, oh, he's nice. I'm not gonna fight you anymore. It's almost like the writer of this script realized, oh shit, I wrote myself into a corner, and now we're not getting a final battle. That Sato guy, he's gonna come in and threaten to kill Daniel-san's girlfriend, and then they'll fight. Yeah, that'll do it. And then Daniel-san will be losing the fight, realizing that he can't beat him, until Mr. Miyagi and the rest of the village convince him, no, you can. And then he realizes he can, and then does it. Yeah, it's not the most riveting stuff. I'm gonna give the Karate Kid Part 2 3 out of 5 Blu-rays.
Not exactly what I had in mind, but not bad.
So guys, if you've seen the Karate Kid Part 2, what did you think about it? Or if you've never seen it before and you stumbled across because of this video, then comment below and let me know what you thought about it. And as always, if you like what you see here, if you like my take on movies, then hit the subscribe button and make sure you hit that bell. See you the next time I release next movie review. So guys, I will see you next time on the channel, but in the meantime, be well, be good to each other, and go watch a movie. Take care, guys.